Happy National Student Leadership Week, and welcome to chapel. I would like to start by thanking all of the students who are helping out today for our mostly adult-free chapel service, and by thanking their adults who have helped out behind the scene. While the NGHS may be organizing the week, you will notice that not all of the students up here are members. Service and leadership are important to our organization, but are certainly not unique to it. We've asked several other students we feel represent these essential characteristics to help out throughout the week. Thank you to all those who have helped.
As we heard at breakfast, and we'll hear more about in a moment, the theme for the week is right here, right now. It highlights the idea that we each have an impact on our community, and we don't need to wait until we have a big project that might change the world to step up and lead. Instead, we can make the choice each day to be engaged in our community. We can learn how to be leaders by plugging into our community and using our gifts right now.
When today's musicians started their instruments, they couldn't play like they do now. They had to practice. When we all want to learn a new sport, we don't start on our varsity team. We need to practice and learn the skills. In the same way, you don't wake up like a leader, like Martin Luther King. You have to practice. By finding small ways to be engaged in our community, you have the opportunity to grow and practice these skills.
We hope that as we hear from today's speakers, you will think about how you can be engaged and practicing your leadership skills. Everyone in here has a different set of gifts. Some can play an instrument, some listen really well, some enjoy tutoring, and yet others can organize events. No matter what your talents are, you have the chance to grow them, use them, and share them within our Cardigan community. I hope that as you listen to today's speakers, you will think about how you can use your gift and how you can practice your skills. Thank you for participating in this year's National Student Leadership Week. We hope that today's messages will inspire you to be engaged in our community, right here, right now. Please join me welcoming Austin Philly, who will speak about his experiences with community service.
Good afternoon, faculty and Cardigan brothers. Over the week, we have heard about the value of kindness and mediation in our community, and that even small acts make a difference and show leadership. But how? Are service and leadership truly related, or are they important yet separate entities of a good person? I would like to think the two are related, and you can't really have one without the other, because community service broadens our worldview, makes us more compassionate, and makes us more aware of the world around us, all of which enhance our leadership skills. Being an active, engaged citizen has taught me lessons that I could not learn by merely studying leadership. I have learned that getting involved and helping people in your community helps to create strong bonds with the people you work with. Those strong bonds that are formed through leadership and service are ones you will have forever. I have learned through service that leadership is something that is not done alone. A great leader learns from his peers and leads with the help of others. Having participated in volunteer work at a local camp in my town every summer, I have gained great relationships with many people and have had very memorable experiences. I have learned that not everyone has the privilege that I have. That helps build humility and appreciation for what I have. When we think through the best, most influential leaders, they each have understood the needs of people beyond themselves. They have a goal towards which they are working that is bigger than themselves. Anything that you are a part of is bigger than yourself, like here at Cardigan, for example. This school is rich in traditions. There have been people here long before us, and there will be people here long after us. There is something bigger than ourselves going on here. While someone can have leadership skills without being a community member, he cannot truly lead without understanding the world beyond himself. While leadership certainly requires community service, I feel that it is a symbiotic relationship, that is, they need each other. Community service requires leadership. A project does not go far without people to organize, guide, mediate, and direct. In the mindset of right here, right now, take a moment to reflect on your own involvement and your own leadership. Now, find a way to get involved, to do something outside yourself, and to grow. Thank you.
Good afternoon, faculty and Cardigan brothers. I'm here to introduce our guest speaker, Yifu Mu. He's one of the members in class of 2014. Many of our varsity football players have played him while we are facing Holderness. He was also on our varsity basketball team. He was one of our senior leaders and Mr. McDonald's table leader. He's here today to talk about his experience coming to school in the U.S. among many other things. Let's give him a Cardigan welcome.
It is a great honor to be back on the point. I am Yifu. I graduated in 2014 and I go to Holderness. Some of you who are on varsity baseball will play me and you probably beat us. We got mercy 2 times in a row. So, a few of you know me pretty well, but for those of you who do not, I've come a long way. I come from a middle-class family in Beijing, China. Growing up, my perception on America was just as ignorant as anyone else's. You know, Abraham Lincoln was the first president and New York was the capital and stuff like that. When I was in 3rd grade, my father jokingly asked me, if you could go to college, in any college in the world, where would you want to go? Harvard? No. How about Yale? They've got an amazing whatever program. No, I said, so where would you want to go then? Now my dad's really curious of what I have to say. I pause for a moment, making it seem like I'm actually putting thoughts into the answer. Suddenly I jump up, said Peking University or Beijing University. My dad smiles and he went on to ask me why. Well, because you and mom went there. Peking University, it is the best institution in China. Sitting in the heart of Beijing, it is a model for modern Chinese education. People die to get in there. It's like a couple 100 millions of high school graduates compete for that couple thousand spots. So it's really, everyone wants to go there. And it gathers China's most elite scientists, engineers, writers, musicians, philosophers, educators, etc. I would say that Peking University is like a Chinese equivalent of Harvard. No, I actually believe that Harvard is an American equivalent of Peking University. I was convinced. I was convinced that I was special. I firmly believed that I was going to be a student athlete who will get recruited to Peking University, just like my parents. I was sent to this world to continue their legacy. I carry the notion that there have been and always will be some preordained meaning to my existence, although I may not have consciously knew that. My problem is I assumed too much. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my speech, it is that assumption in many cases are bad. Assumption is the root of all evil. Kids like us, especially kids like us who attend boarding school, who on average come from merely a better economic or intellectual background, especially likes to assume. We often think that our talent can make up for our lack of hard work, that our ability is to be taken granted. Assumption also traps one in a cage. One only sees what he should do or what everything should be like, that he becomes unable to see the truth beyond that illusion. When I first came to the U.S., to Cardigan, I thought things were going to be fun and jokes. I had all these imaginations in my head of how schools in the U.S. worked. Easy academics, lots of free time. Everything was just going to be fun. As much as I didn't want to leave my parents, I was truly excited. My assumption was based on thin air. It carried no rationality or any validity whatsoever. As you could imagine, I struggled mightily during the first couple months. The thing I remember struggling with the most was football practice. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to play football a lot. I thought it was going to be fun, just like everything else. Although I was able to distinguish football from soccer, it was still conceptually such a different sport than all the other sport I've known all my life. I had no idea what was going on. I remember one night, my dad called me. I suddenly broke down in tears. I was like, Dad, I hate football. They have these stupid chains on the sideline. it would say like 3 on one play, and then it reverts back to like 1. And I don't know why. It's so confusing. Confusion. I think that was the word that best described me. Everything was so different than what I had expected. Many of my classmates were smarter than me. I didn't know how to do the history homework. George Washington was, in fact, the first president. I didn't know how to speak proper English. Didn't know what a first down was. In the realization of everything, I had myself a mini existential crisis. I gradually understood that nothing's going to come easy, that I was no longer leading the pack. Quite the opposite. I needed to play catch-up. I was no longer the captain for my basketball team in my elementary school. In fact, I was on thirds. Things are not going to come easy, and I needed to work for it. My life is going to be very different from my parents, and I'm on the other side of the globe now, completely on my own. Nobody can make my decisions. One step at a time, I learned to substantiate every opportunity possible to better myself. Indeed, everybody should set some form of short-term and long-term goals, but what really counts is the present. Before a basketball game, the coach can make whatever game plan he likes against the opponent, like how to defend a pick and roll, or what sets to run against the zone. However, what ultimately wins games is the execution of every possession itself. Every little thing you do will eventually add up together to form the character that's unique to you, and only you, so you need not to worry too much too soon. Recently, I have become fascinated with Western philosophy. I wrote a research paper on existentialism, and I think this branch of philosophy might as well capture some of our modern world's most important values. I'm going to leave this speech, I'm going to challenge all of you with a quote, and you guys should think about it. Existence precedes essence. I'll say it again. Existence precedes essence. This quote is said by one of the most renowned 20th century French philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre. Only through experience can we conclude meaning. Without the present, the result cannot be deduced. If anything, I should go to Peking University because I work hard for it, not because my parents went there or because everyone wants to go there. Focus on the present, and the result will come due to your hard work. So seniors, you guys have a month left in school. I ask you to please be responsible for yourself. And underclassmen, you guys should use every opportunity to try new things and expose yourself to new ideas. I believe that we're all too inexperienced to conclude anything yet, and this is only the beginning of the beginning. Thank you.
Now at this time, I would like to please ask you to rise and join me in the singing of the Cardigan hymn.
I'll be saying the benediction from Psalm 90. Let your work be shown to your servants, and your glorious power to their children. Let the favor of all our gods be upon us, and establish the work of our hands upon us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Amen.